very good afternoon to you and thank you for joining us. This is Opinion 2017. Now, yesterday was a Black Thursday. Yesterday, former SONU chair and now Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino was arraigned in court and later released. He had been given a cash bail of 200,000 and 500,000 respectively, running battles in Kibra around the Kibera Magistrate Court and all the way to Kamukunji grounds in Kibra, and later he was released. And at the precincts of Nairobi University or University of Nairobi, a scene that was more like from the movies or from the days of apartheid in South Africa was witnessed. Kenyan students were brutally beaten up by Kenya police, or is it other persons in police uniforms? And today I'm joined by students from 3 leading universities in the country. On my extreme left, Winnie Nyandiga, who's the president of the Masinde Muliro University Students Organization. She is also a criminologist. She's studying criminology. Karibu sana, Winnie.
Thank you.
I'm also joined by David Jesse, who is a 5th year student of medicine at Kenyatta University and also the president of the ODM Student Front of Kenyatta University.
Thank you.
Well, that's quite an organization.
Yeah.
And of course, next to me is Shandra. I didn't say it wrongly. It's not Sandra. Shandra Onyango, who is a civil engineer. She's a civil engineering student, 1st year at the University of Nairobi. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Now, before we get into the discussion, let's just have a look at this very unfortunate clip that tells us that today Kenya is back at the very dark days we feared for. Have a look.
I just trapped on the 5th floor. I'm just waiting for us to come. I don't know. Fuck. Start to imagine the trauma that the students had to endure. The trauma for you as a parent, knowing that celebrated Kenyan students, our A students, that our parents take loans to put in these institutions, that the government pays so much for to be in these institutions, can be brutalized in such a fashion. I mean, I cannot believe that in the 21st century, Kenya can criminalize intellectualism in this fashion. You are a 1st year. Before you joined the university, I mean, when you got your results, I want to imagine the excitement of your parents that you're going to the university.
You are cream de la cream. You are joining the best of the best. Did you ever imagine this will happen?
To be honest, I've always been proud of my academic work, and I've always hoped that my academic work and my diligence would take me to the best of places, take me to meet intelligent people, hardworking people, successful people. And in the University of Nairobi, I expected to meet just that lot. To be brutalized like I am uneducated completely, like I do not have the right to speak and to express my views about what is happening in my own country.
Right.
That's not something I expected at all.
Just take us through what really happened yesterday.
Well, yesterday by 6 o'clock in the morning,
right,
the boys in Hall 9 were up singing songs.
Right.
And in the University of Nairobi, we have this thing, we call each other comrades.
Comrade, yes.
Yes. So if, let's say I'm at Jivanji Garden and someone attacks me, wants to steal my phone or something, if I shout comrade,
a fellow comrade
will come and respond.
Right.
So my comrades were singing songs in response to many things that have been happening in the University of Nairobi for like the last 2 weeks.
Right.
NYS brutality within the school, just power shortages and other things that have been going on. And then again, speaking on behalf of our fellow comrade now, Babu Owino, who had been arrested. So really it was just songs and dance and speeches till about 11 o'clock.
Yes.
And that is when the GSU arrived. So I don't know if the songs was what needed to be stopped by all that brutality and all that beating and the tear gas. But to be completely honest, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 11 a.m., it was just songs and people speaking and talking.
And then at 11 when they arrived,
everything went haywire. Everything went haywire. It was tear gas. I remember I barely could sleep in my hostel because they just shot the tear gas inside the hostels. It was impossible to condone. All the way to our mess, our cafeteria, everything was just impossible. So it was just a terrible situation.
Before I get your reactions, Jesse, you're saying that's so horrible and cruelty. These fake people calling themselves GSU, they should be punished for practicing terrorism. That's not normal at all. Do they have children? Cowards. Luembe Mofungo, you're saying these aren't police officers. If they are, what was their strategy and who sent them and on what mission? You are a student leader, actually a president. What do you make of this? I mean, has there been some situations in Masinde Muliro that are similar?
Unfortunately,
yes.
I'm just grateful that now we are coming out and talking about it.
Yes.
These things have been happening. It is not the first time, and I think it is time the police are stopped. They have massaged us for too long. And
I mean, what do you mean massaged? I mean, my understanding of massage could be a bit different.
Yes, I think it is time they are stopped.
Okay.
For trying just to use the better word.
Okay.
It is time they are stopped.
Okay.
This is not the first time, and until they are stopped, it won't be the last time. And as you've heard, as my colleague has said, they were peaceful.
Yes.
The comrades were peaceful. They were just singing. We were just regrouping to go to Kibra and stand in solidarity with one of our
you are preparing to go to the law courts?
Yes,
okay.
And just in solidarity.
Right.
Why is it wrong? If I could take you back down the history, when Uhuru and Vice President Ruto
yes.
were in ICC,
yes.
they mobilized the member of parliament to go and stand with solidarity with them.
Yes.
So why is it when we do it is wrong? Babu is a student, he's a law student. So it is time. And we will deal with them the way they want us to deal with them.
Cecilia Kwamboka, students being beaten like terrorists. The government sends such police to deal with terrorists who attack and kill our people, but not our students. This government has totally failed us. Bertha, you're saying shame on Jubilee government. Janet, you're saying this is too much. How can a government do this to its own? I would like to hear, wow. I would like to hear Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta condemn this. She's a mother with children. She's our first lady. The gentleman in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So first of all, we have to get from the first point of this. And I think peaceful picketing is a constitutional right. It is an inalienable right as prescribed by Article 37 of our Constitution. So these are comrades who are just peacefully picketing against the vexatious incarceration of our comrade Babu Owino.
Yes.
And we were met by police brutality. And I think it's time that we stop police brutality, because we've had this in the 90s, in the 80s, and we even promulgated a new constitution in 2010.
Correct.
And we thought that all this would end. And today we're seeing it even worse more than what was happening before. So I think it's time that we condemn this as society, and the government should come out and, because when you talk to these people, they tell you that they were given orders. So who is giving them orders to brutalize?
Let me ask you, did you interact with any of the officers?
Yeah.
Or supposed officers?
Yeah.
Because it's not too clear whether they are officers. There's talk about Mungiki or any other groupings being given police uniform. Did you sense some sense of bitterness or?
Yeah, I have been interacting with these people since, in fact, the day Babu was arrested. I went to the DCI, and we were blocked from getting into the DCI to see Babu. Mm-hmm. And they were bitter. And when we asked these people that, what's up, they told us, we're working with orders from above. So we don't know, this above, is it the sky, which side of the sky? So who is
above exactly?
If I could just speak about the bitterness. I remember once, as I was leaving graduation square, as I'm joining Chiromo campus, there was a lady at the gate, and she was stopping students from entering Chiromo campus. And she clearly said, I don't care what you got in KCC, but if you are to enter this campus, it is with my permission, or you'll have to kill me first. And you wonder, when exactly did the relationship between the students and the people who are supposed to protect us go haywire? When exactly did it stop being a friendly situation and we became competitors, or we became fighters against each other?
Did you mention NYS? What is the precise role of NYS? I thought UoN or KU, even when I was in KU, we had security firms that were contracted to do security. So at what point does NYS come in, and what's their relationship with the students?
Okay, I believe I had mentioned that this uprise in the University of Nairobi didn't start yesterday. Mm-hmm. For the last 1.5 weeks, we have had students having small rallies at night, demonstrations here and there, because of the fact that those private security officers, mm-hmm. they're being replaced by NYS officers. So
it is now NYS doing security, providing security at UoN.
Exactly. And their relationship with us is not anything close to friendly. It is the closest thing to hostility. It is, as in they're just taking advantage of their position and just making it impossible for us to move within the university, to enter and leave. It's just haywire. Really.
Just a second. Kefan Chore, dictatorship has never succeeded anywhere in the world. Jubilee will fall. It's only a matter of time. Vicari Omwando, these are the consequences of electing privileged fools. Vicari, that's hard hitting. Well, I don't know. I don't want to place names anyway. These days you say things like Mtoto wa Mbwa, and it just brings you problems. You were saying something.
Okay, I was saying that I think as a society we need to condemn this, because what we're seeing is going to radicalize our students. Because in radicalization, it comes with deprivation. So these students are going to feel that they're deprived of something. It's relative deprivation. They're deprived of something, like the freedom. They're no longer free, because you go to UoN and the NYS are the kind of some kind of arrogance. So they're feeling deprived of their freedom. And when you deprive a society of its freedom, then you radicalize a society. So what we're going to see is radicalization. And we don't want to see radicalization. We've seen Al-Shabaab and all these groups, they sprout because of radicalization. Yeah.
Madam President, somebody did mention that the case of yesterday was these students disciplining A students.
Yes, that is true. And I don't know why Kenya is different. I think we should revisit this and we just come up with a clear criteria on who will be joining police force. Like the way all has been said here, all the time is we've gotten orders. Is it because they are foolish? And when they are given orders, even when the orders are out of place, they still go on and exercise such orders.
At what point do they engage their brain?
Exactly. And then the same police, it's only in Kenya whereby for you to qualify to be in police force, they look at things like height, teeth.
Yeah,
fingers.
I hear the shape of teeth matters.
Imagine.
I don't know. You're a criminologist. Would that be anything that will help in
Imagine,
solving a case or something
when
like that?
somebody gets a D, with no offense, and you're like, don't worry, you will join the police force. That is where the rain started beating.
And then you have a chance to brutalize.
Yes, you go to successful democracies where being a police is a calling, just like being a doctor, being a lawyer, and even an A student feels like I want to serve my country, and they enter the police force. So in Kenya, we should revisit this criteria. Should be changed. That's why the other time we were seeing an A student, an electrical engineering in UoN, joining Al-Shabaab, and yet you want to wonder why Al-Shabaab still wins even over 100 GSU police officers. We need to revisit that.
Very well. Irene Musundi, you're saying, why was the government pretending to care about students? Aren't these students? Solomon Asio, NYS children threatening our safety must be ejected forthwith. Muhammad Ali, NASA supporters in certain communities in Kenya, including the Somali, Turkana, Mijikenda, so many others, are singularly mistreated by status quo. They are being used by policemen and paramilitary.
Yeah, and I think moving forward we need to, because I feel the bitterness also comes from the fact that these people didn't go to the university. So they kind of feel bitter. So I think that the next government, like if we take government, then I think police officers should first go to the university so that we can bridge this bitterness. Because
but sir, the acting interior minister, who's in charge of internal security,
a very bitter man of late also.
No, but he's a doctor. I mean, he's supposed to. He's not an academic dwarf. I mean, he's supposed to be an intellectual tower. So even if the police were to be limited in terms of their intellectual endowment, Matiang'i is not limited.
Excuse me, we have few cases whereby you can remove the monkey from the forest, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, what monkey are you talking about?
No, that is just a quote in the African center.
I agree, but I just need, I need to caution you. Some people have talked about dogs, they've had problems. You're talking about a monkey. You might have bigger problems.
I am so tired of being intimidated simply because I'm opinionated, and when the government is wrong, I'm saying it is wrong, and they want to threaten me with, I don't know, police cell. As Babu said, those cells were made for human beings, and besides, you only die once. There is no how I can die twice.
And I think Matiang'i is just arrogant, trying to propagate status quo. So he's just defending his job. It's not that he's naturally arrogant, but he's trying to act that to defend.
Because I'm trying to cascade your argument that orders from above. So I am a police officer, a constable.
Yes.
I report to a commanding officer, most probably an inspector, and then to a high authority, all the way to Boynet. And all the way to the Interior Minister, and all the way to the NSC, the National Security Council, and all the way to the Commander-in-Chief, who's the President. So I'm just trying to decipher this above. Because what is coming out is we have robots called police. If they are told, kill your mother, they don't ask questions, they kill. So if they are told, do otherwise, they do otherwise. So in terms of this evil, then the issue of the order is equally evil.
And again, why is it that most of these police are from a certain community? Like, I was there for the Monday demonstrations, and also yesterday, you find that most of them are from a certain community. So we're wondering, is it that the police force only has one community?
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know how you know that a certain group of police officers can be from one community. I don't know if it's because language spoken or certain looks. I heard that there were many police officers with rather brown teeth, but I've seen people with colored teeth across the country. So I don't know. I don't know how you measure or how true that is.
We interacted with these people. I was there for the Monday demonstrations, and I tried interacting with these people before people really started demonstrating, and most of them are from a certain community. So is it that when in these times we're going to deploy only a certain community, you know?
So you're saying there's tribal considerations in deployment of police for certain missions,
and that brings us to the question that I think these are not police officers. Somehow there's that gap, because these are from a single community and that claims that they're not police officers. They're just people who have been given uniform. So we're trying to connect the dots.
Eunice Gishana, you're saying all learned people should stand strong and vote Jubilee government out. And the surprising thing about learned people, I'll tell you as well, we have very learned people in parliament. They equally seem to have disengaged their brains. We had very, very unfortunate goings on in Bunge yesterday, and even last year when we had very bad media laws passed by very learned people. And sometimes I just wonder where we decide to use what we learned in school and where we decide what not to use.
And even in the university, we have dons who are still for the status quo despite their many PhDs and all that schooling.
Well, quite unfortunate. Yes, my dear.
Well, first of all, I think that our government should understand that learned, educated or illiterate, every single person has a political affiliation. So when a student rises up and says that I do not want this, or my government, I am not standing by you at this situation, you should not come and brutalize us because you can just find us in one area. I think it is, first of all, it is a very big shame if it is true that our government is actually deploying people based on
I mean,
based on
it
the
is
community.
criminal.
It is criminal.
It is criminal.
It should
It
not
is criminal.
work at all.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that no one should take any job, do any job based on their last names. Like, you should not actually stand up against a fellow Kenyan because you're not in the same community with them. We, as learned people, as that's what the young lady said, as learned people, we should be able to identify what is good for this country and what is not good for this country. Whether you are in Jubilee or whether you are in NASA, you should be able to literally just see that this is wrong and this is right. I will stand by this to the end. You cannot punish people because of their political affiliation. It's just wrong.
Cosmas Kaloki Singh, investigations must commence on what else might have happened in the hostels. If you watch the first video, you will notice something. Smalls, I'm really waiting to hear what Matiang'i and Uhuru Kenyatta will say. To the ladies, do you feel safe anymore being a student? We've had reports that perhaps some women, lady students, were raped or molested by police. We saw a young woman being dragged away by police. It's not clear what happened to them. Madam President, do you feel safe as a female student?
I don't feel safe. You know, rape, you can do anything you want to me, but not rape. I can imagine of the first year students who have they're just 1 month old. Probably they have never had sex before. And then just like that in the fracas, and police are supposed to be there to protect us.
Right.
When we are out on the streets demonstrating, which is our constitutional right, they should be there to offer us security. Which takes me down the lane. Are these policemen human? Do they have kids? Do they have sisters? Do they have wives? And do they have mothers? And again, does it, when you are in the police force, does it mean they're denied their conjugal rights? I don't get it. And you know, the worst part is, those who have been raped, before they are cancelled, it is so hard for them to come out. Right. How do you come out? How will the society perceive me? How will that boyfriend of mine, whom we had just started talking, I can't.
If I may say, I was talking to a friend yesterday.
Right.
He was actually part of the demonstrations and he got really injured during the demonstrations. And he was telling me that last year they had a strike of the same sort, and it was just impossible. The police were out of control. They literally entered the women's hostels and they raped people. There was a young lady who the police broke into their room and she was so scared of being raped, she jumped from the window to the
She
ground.
jumped from what floor?
Third floor.
Oh,
She
no.
she still has a spinal injury to date.
Oh no.
So this just shows the people who take their vows and their oaths to say that they will protect us, that they will stand by this constitution. Are they really the right people? First of all, as I would like to take us back to who are these police people? Who are they? Are they just people who, just because they wanted to be teachers, they wanted to be doctors, but didn't make it, to say, there's still something for you, come and become a police officer? For someone to actually take a bullet for you, they have to have passion. They have to want to fight for you. They want to have to protect you. If you're constantly just choosing people as to be our police officers because it is their second or last choice, then we'll constantly have these issues.
And again, I think it's time we sought immunity, because what we saw the police entering the rooms and dragging these students out. They were entering their classrooms. So I think there should be boundaries that police, because some of them were innocent. They were not even okay. They're trying to criminalize protesting.
It's blanket punishment.
Yeah, but
that's what the colonialists used
some of them were not protesting. So why were they being dragged from their rooms?
Like in a case of a teacher who was in class,
Exactly.
and the teacher was told to come out, and the students were frog-marched, and they were assaulted. In such a case,
the lecturer was told to leave the class, and the students were brutalized. They were literally in class. They had no idea about the demonstrations that were going on. This is just getting
T-shirt KE, watching from Egerton University, Tuko Pamoja. I don't know which Tuko Pamoja you are referring to, but I hope it's the one that...
it is Mbele Pamoja.
Oh, I hope it
Mbele
means
Pamoja.
that he empathizes and shares it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, as a parent, I've probably taken a loan. I'm spending a lot of money to keep you in school, and I receive a call, and probably my daughter has been raped, is in hospital, or has a spinal injury, like you say, jumps from third floor, running away from a police officer who wants to rape her, a police officer in a police uniform that I pay taxes for. I mean, as a parent, is it even safe to then have people living in the hostels anymore? I don't think as a parent I will have sleep, because it appears anything can happen to you.
Yeah, like just my parents has been traumatized over this issue, and she kept calling yesterday, trying to understand the situation, you know. So it feels the pain of a parent. Parents, like currently, parents are stressed up, and because these are the students. For some students, that the only hopes of their villages.
Yeah, you're right. Many
students are
only
actually-
hopes of families.
They're the hopes of their families and villages. So when you brutalize these students, it is pain for a village to some people.
Winnie, is there any recourse in terms of, is there a connection or is there a disconnect between administration and student leadership? Like now the girl who jumped from third floor and injured her spinal cord. What's next for her?
Unfortunately, not before I comment on that, because
Right.
you're talking about hostels, our parents like safe anymore if we are in the hostels. But again, you look at it from this perspective: are our parents safe with us being in the university? Because yes, they can rent for me a hostel outside
Yes.
the university.
Mhm.
Now, in a case I'm in the class and I'm still brutalized, so it's not a matter of hostel or not in the hostel. It is a matter of being in the university.
So being in the university now threatens your life.
Yeah.
Everything.
So passing exams is now a problem.
Imagine.
Vicary Omwando, Jubilee is composed of fraudsters and people who have perfected the arts of shortcuts to life. Emily Moses, police are so intimidating in Kenya, they don't have respect, they feel untouchable, and we should re-educate them by saying discipline by beating was for Ukoloni and we are beyond that. People are dragged from class,
Yeah.
from their hostels. Just a week back, and about a month back, people are dragged from their houses in Kisumu, people are dragged from their houses in Mathare, in Kibra, and they are shot. This is a spent cartridge of a police bullet. I collected them outside the IBC premises. While I was there, they were firing tear gas into the classrooms and hostels. And I was just looking at this cop, and I was like, what is wrong with you? I mean, this is a live bullet. All those are cartridges of live bullets. What I'm trying to think, what are you supposed to become when you leave Nairobi University? If this is how you're being treated.
Yeah, that was my point exactly when I was talking about radicalization. You radicalize the society when you subject them to such horrendous and excessive force. Because if I'm treated in such a manner, I will maybe want to treat somebody in such a manner too. So you've radicalized me.
The argument of these people is that there are other ways to air our grievances. That if we want changes in the university, then we should drop a letter in the suggestion box or something of that sort.
Those suggestion box,
I can assure you that if those avenues actually worked, we won't have those demonstrations. They say that we just want to make noise, we just want to disrupt the normal university schedule.
Destroy
but
property,
it is not true.
loot.
It is not true. As I had clearly said, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., we were singing, we were dancing, we were talking, it was just us coming together and speaking. From 11 a.m. onwards,
It was something else.
It was something else. Not because we were on the wrong, not because we were destroying property, no, because the police came and just started brutalizing.
They had to do everything possible to stop you from
airing
reaching
our views.
yeah,
the only avenue that
and
actually
showing
works.
solidarity.
Exactly.
The
only avenue that actually works, they had to send people to stop us.
Because this is a case of the youth rising against oppression, and the government is not having any of it because they want to rot in this power posts.
And again, you are talking about the administration. I think there's a discordance between the students' union and the administration. Like in Nairobi University, for example, they're trying to disband SONU. So the student voice is no longer, because in most instances the administration collide with the government, so they speak one language. So the students no longer have a voice.
Exactly.
James Hakizimana, watching from United Kingdom, so sad what Kenya is going through. Don't stop the fight. Canaan is real. Hang in there. NASA how? This must be a Rwandese citizen, so to speak. Lynette Nyaboke Haron, the students are both NASA and Jubilee supporters, I'm sure. The choices you make have consequences, unfortunately, for us all. Now, we are wrapping up. I'll start with you and finish with Madam President. To your parents, to Kenyans, to Boynet, to Matiang'i, to the Commander-in-Chief, Uhuru Kenyatta. 30 seconds. They are watching.
I am an intelligent Kenyan. I have political affiliations. When I see something wrong, I will say it and I will not keep quiet. When I raise my voice to fight against what you have dictated, listen to me. Don't shut me up.
Very well. Thank you. Kilonzo B. Mutiso, you're saying the only situation is for the masses to rise and act. Sir.
Okay, to the Kenyan people, I think you witnessing this despite of your tribe and your political affiliation. And some of the students who were clobbered yesterday were Jubilee supporters. So I think it's high time that we looked at what you want as a society and the kind of government that you want. Do you want a dictatorial regime that will continue oppressing us? And to the police, some of us are fighting for, you have kids, your parents, and you have children. We're fighting for your children to have a better future. So I think it's high time you looked at this on the flip side, that as much as you want to be brutal, but what are we fighting for? We're fighting for a better society for you and for your children. And to Uhuru Kenyatta, these orders are from above. We don't know from which above they are from, but I think it's constitutional that we protest peacefully, and as a president, you should respect the rule of law and our constitution.
Very well. Winnie, Madam President.
A country that invests in the youth is a country that is safe. Our society is going the wrong direction. And for the people out there who are trying to defend what happened, or rather what has been happening, especially immediately what happened after our polls and what happened yesterday in Nairobi University, simply because you are a Jubilee supporter or you are a NASA supporter. That is wrong. A time will come when the shoe will be on your side, and you will need us on this other side to stand up and speak against it. So it's time as Kenyans, we come forth and shun the evils for whatever they are. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. Kenya is bigger. And for us to have a better future, we should start right now. To the youths out there who are in this struggle, who are fighting for a better tomorrow, don't give up. It is just starting. We need to rise up against the oppression, because in the end, both the oppressors and the oppressed will be punished.
Very well, Andrew George, you're saying it's so barbaric and obnoxious act which is unacceptable in our society. Tabitha, you're saying he who watches over Israel will never slumber nor sleep. God will fight for us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for coming out. Dusty Gross is saying thank you for coming out to speak on this Kenyan yetu. I wish you well in your studies and pray that God grants you cover. Very well, there you heard it. I mean, it's just unbelievable sometimes to believe that this can be happening in Kenya. To the police, this doctor will be treating your daughter, your son tomorrow. This criminologist will be assisting you in your work tomorrow. This civil engineer will be building your house tomorrow. You have to behave like you belong in this society. To those who give orders from above, whoever you are above, shame on you. We need the human part of you. Thank you for watching and goodbye. This is Opinion 2017.